Okay, all right, well, good afternoon. My name's Paul. I'm a sponsored shooter with Acton International, and this is the Acton International ATXC. It's topped with a Night Force Attacker 7-35. We've got an Aimpoint T2 on top of the scope there, which is used for target acquisition. So, looking at some of these features, you've got a adjustable length of pull on this rifle. All you have to do is just loosen off that thumb screw there, and you'll see that the length of pull can be adjusted on the fly very easily. There's also a bag rider underneath, which is mounted using a Picatinny rail, so you can choose any other proprietary bag rider that you'd like. Same detail with the cheek piece. Loosen the thumb screw, adjust it to the height that you need, and then set. This one also comes with a folding stock, so the competition model has some additional accessories. You can fold the stock, makes it easier to transport, easier to clean, a bit more compact setup as well. Bring that out. We have a chassis system here, full length Arca rail, so if you need to, you can slide the bipod all the way to the bottom, depends on what support you're using. If you want to get 2 points of contact to increase your stability and you've got a small surface area to work with, you can move this bipod to exactly where you need it, which is incredibly useful. You can also attach certain things like bag plates, anything with an Arca clamp essentially that you might use to improve your stability, then you can attach it to the bottom of this chassis. And what else do we have? So the bolt on the ATXC has been slightly refined compared to the previous model. Without going into a load of detail here, some of the more square edges on the ATX have now been rounded off, and essentially what that means is the bolt lift and cycling the bolt is a little bit smoother. So what that enables you to do is to stay on target while you're manipulating the action, which for certain competitive sports like precision rifle shooting can save you valuable seconds when you're on the clock. There are other features in here, I won't go into those details now, but ultimately the bolt has just been refined. We've got a 3-position safety, similar with most AIs, all the way to the rear. Safety on, locks the action. Halfway point, safety still on, but you can unload, and then finally forward, it's fire. What else is there? Some of the material has been cut away from the action in the ATXC just to save a little bit of weight behind the balance point. This rifle really is designed for dynamic long-range steel plate shooting alongside certain military use cases as well. The so what being is that actually we want to be able to get the balance point pretty much around where my hand is here for using hasty rifle supports and single barricade bags. By stripping some of the weight out here, then actually that does help our cause with getting some more weight further forward and getting the balance point right. MOA, so in terms of Picatinny rail, it's got a 20 MOA rail, camp built into it. Standard Picatinny rail will take any sorts of Picatinny mounts that you need. Going forward, similar vein to what I mentioned about the weight and the balance point. On this key slot system here, you can mount external weights and also internal weights under the barrel channel. You can have however many that you need in order to get the rifle to the weight that you want, and also the balance point. Really, really useful. You can also put extra things on there, like many people will create 3D printed products that fit into this key slot system, which just helps you control the rifle and can be bespoke to you as well. So that is also a really useful feature to have. In terms of the barrel system, AI will provide either 24 or 26 inch 6.5 Creedmoor 308 barrels. Threads are 18 by 1.5 for the AI muzzle brake. They also do a 5/8 by 24 inch, which is more of a standard thread if you're looking for an aftermarket muzzle brake or sound moderator. So you have both options available to you. Twist rate for the 308 is 1 in 10 and 1 in 8 for the 6.5 Creedmoor. That will cover most bullet weights that people are going to use for target shooting. Okay, one of the features on this, which is really, really useful for the end user, is that you can swap these barrels out at home with no bespoke tools required whatsoever. That key, this hex key here, is kept under the cheek piece. All you need to do is find the hex bolt, loosen that hex bolt off, about half a turn or so, and then this barrel will unturn by hand, if you can see that there. And the benefit of this is you can then swap between, say, a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor, and if you're prepared to buy an aftermarket magazine and see a gunsmith, you can even go down to a 6mm caliber as well. So the Grey Ops AW magazines will provide, cater for a 6BR, 6 Dasher for some of those more sort of calibers that are more popular for PRS, but for AI, they'll provide 6.5 Creedmoor barrel, changes out there, and a 308 barrel. I run about 5 or 6 6.5 barrels at home. Some will be used for training use, which are when they're getting on a little bit. Others are more sort of newer in their life, so I'll prioritise those for competition. And I can swap those in and out, and I will make a mark of the 0 offset for each one. When I take a barrel off and put it back on, it's usually within 1 or 2 tenths of a mil. So at 100 metres, you're looking at about 1 to 2 centimetres, usually 1 centimetre from its original point of, from its original 0. So a really good feature to have. So I'll put this back on now. So simply take care not to damage the tenon threads. And that will bite in there like so. Tighten up by hand. Edit that bit out. It takes a while. There we go. And then finally, just nip it up by hand, snug fit. Take the hex key, and then ideally with a torque driver, you should torque this down to 49 inch-pounds in accordance with the manual. For the purposes of this, I will do it to what I deem about there. That'll do. Finally, hex key can live in the cheek piece at the back. What else have I mentioned? Trigger unit. Okay, so the trigger is a Axel International competition trigger, 2 stages, brakes at around 1.5 pounds out of the box. Rifle is indeed clear. As you can see there, have a first stage, brakes cleanly at 1.5 pounds. It can be swapped out for a AX trigger unit as well if people are looking for something a little bit more robust. From my experience, I've never had an issue with the comp trigger unit, bearing in mind that was shot in some relatively dusty conditions as well. So I think for most target use in the UK and even abroad for that matter, the competition trigger unit is absolutely fine. It does a really good job. In terms of calibers, AI will provide calibers for 308 and 6.5 Creedmoor. And in the AXSR, you can go up to a 338 lap mag and down to a 300 Win mag as well. And down to a 308 bolt face, of course. But for this is non-magnum, 308 bolt face, any caliber that the mag will support. 6 Creedmoor is also an option as well. In terms of the optic, this is a Nightforce Attacker 7-35 in a spur mount. It's got an Aimpoint T2 on top. As I said, used for target acquisition. This scope here is really suited. It's mainly designed for military use, but it also has a lot of application for the more sort of dynamic, long-range target shooting. So it's got a mil-XT reticule in it, allows for holding of elevation and wind concurrently, which is useful if you've got a tight course of fire, got lots of rounds and different distances to shoot in a short space of time. And yeah, that is the Axel International ATXC.